Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing and doing a hands-on review of the Samsung Galaxy M52 5G. So here's the box. In India, this phone is launched in two variants. Base variant is priced at 30,000 rupees. It comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Next variant is priced at 32,000 rupees, which comes with 8GB of RAM and the same 128GB of storage. It's available in two colors, blazing black and icy blue. We have the 6GB variant in the icy blue color. Now the main highlights for this phone would be its performance. This phone actually comes with a Snapdragon 778G processor with an impressive display, pretty good cameras and a super slim body. And you can also add 5G if you're really interested. So without any further delays, first let's have an unboxing. Once again, back to the box, it just says Galaxy M52 5G. It also has a preview of the display. There's a branding on the sides. Now let's unbox it. First we have an envelope in the lid. Next we have the phone itself, followed by the power adapter. By the way, it's just a 15 watts power adapter. This phone actually supports 25 watts, but in the box we get a 15 watts power adapter. Finally, we get a USB Type-C charging cable. Now inside this envelope, we just get some documentation. And by the way, there is no free case, just like with other Samsung phones. Now here's the phone. Let me just remove the sticker. Now this is how the phone looks on the front and this is how the phone looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back, this phone actually has a plastic back panel. Even though it's plastic, it doesn't feel cheap. It's pretty decent, I would say. Overall, it helps to reduce the thickness of the phone and the weight as well. Anyway, at the top, we got the camera module and at the bottom, we got the Samsung branding. On the front, we have the massive display with smaller bezels all around and a punch hole design at the top. Below the display, it's completely plain and the chin is pretty small. Now for the sides, on the left side, we got the SIM card tray housing a nano SIM slot along with a hybrid SD card slot. So you can either use two nano SIMs or a nano SIM and an SD card, not all three at once. On the right side, we got the power button, which also acts like a fingerprint scanner, followed by the volume buttons. All the buttons are made of plastic and they have a nice tactile feel to them. At the top, we just got the secondary mic for noise cancellation. Finally, at the bottom, we got the primary microphone, followed by the USB Type-C charging port and the speaker grill. By the way, this phone has just a single speaker at the bottom. This phone has a thickness of 7.4 mm and weighs just 173 grams. In hand, it feels pretty sleek and weighs pretty light. Let me remind you, this is one of the few phones out there with a bigger battery but sleeker form factor and weighs under 180 grams. So that's definitely pretty cool. Now these are the complete specifications of this phone. On the rear, it's got a triple camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary camera with f1.8 aperture, followed by a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a 5 megapixel macro camera. For selfies, we get a 32 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. As for display, it has a massive 6.7 inch Super AMOLED Plus Infinity O display with Full HD Plus resolution with 120Hz screen refresh rate. As for performance, this phone sports the Snapdragon 778G processor with Adreno 642L GPU with up to 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. This phone supports 5G with 11 bands. Now as for battery, this phone has a massive 5000 mAh battery, supports 25 watt fast charging and comes with a 15 watts power adapter inside the box. Now this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. This is the general user interface. Now here's the about page. This phone is running One UI 3.1 based on Android 11 with September 1st security patch, which is pretty good. Now here's the storage information. Out of that 128GB of space, we get about 104GB of space for our user apps and user data. And out of that 6GB of RAM, we get about 2.6GB of RAM free right out of the box. Now let's see the camera interface. So it looks pretty similar to other Samsung phones. We got the photo mode, wide angle mode, macro mode. On the left, we got the single take, fun mode. On the right side, we got the video mode and more section. We have a pretty similar interface even for the front facing camera. These are some sample shots. Even in the camera department, Samsung M52 really does a splendid job. Almost all the pictures look pretty impressive. Now let's check the speaker loudness. This phone has just a single speaker at the bottom with Dolby Atmos support. Here's a quick audio preview. Speaker on this phone is pretty loud, it's great for media consumption, and it's definitely good enough for ringtones and alarms. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. Personally, I'm really not a big fan of the side-mounted fingerprint scanners, but that's what we got on this phone, and the performance is also pretty decent. It almost unlocks the phone within a second. Here's a preview once again. We also got Face Unlock feature on this phone, and that works really well. In good lighting conditions, Face Unlock works almost instantaneously and unlocks the phone within a second. In low lighting conditions, it still works and it's pretty fast and takes about a second or two to unlock the phone. In complete darkness, Face Unlock still works but takes a bit more time. Overall, Face Unlock works and you can definitely use it. Now before I conclude, these are the benchmark scores. So guys, for a price of about 30,000 rupees, Samsung Galaxy M52 5G is definitely a pretty impressive phone. It's got performance, mainly a Snapdragon processor. That's actually something many people look forward to. It's got a pretty impressive display with 120Hz screen refresh rate, and that's a Super AMOLED display as well. It's got pretty impressive cameras, bigger display, and most importantly, it has a pretty sleek form factor and weighs pretty lightweight as well. So if all these things are important for you, then I can definitely recommend this phone to you under 30,000 rupees. I've also done a bit of gaming on this phone, like playing PUBG, and the gaming performance is pretty good. It's got a pretty good processor, amazing display, especially that 120Hz screen refresh rate definitely adds on the gaming experience. So for a normal user, performance is definitely more than sufficient, and even if you're a gamer, this phone can definitely satisfy you. Whether you're playing games like PUBG, Call of Duty, or even smaller games, performance is definitely the last thing that you have to worry about, especially for this phone. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. See you in my next video.